Good morning, guys. I have a word for you. Some would call this a coincidence, but I call it God's divine confirmation. So you have to excuse me. I've been in praise and worship all morning. I've been crying and happy and joyful, and there's just so much going on in my heart right now. But I left my house this morning and I decided to do something different today. I've had so much hardships and betrayal in my life within the last just few months that I've been going through some stuff, and I felt myself not pulling away from God, but just kind of focusing on other things and being so distracted with the worldly things of my life that I was not feeding my spirit. And so I decided that this week I was going to set on a new path. I was going to get my mind, body, and spirit back in order. So I woke up this morning at 5:30 and I decided to hit the gym, and I decided instead of listening to worship music at the gym, I would listen to scripture and get back into scripture. And so I did that for an hour, and then I took my son to school. And on the way to my son's school, I decided to listen to my praise and worship, and we prayed in the car like we normally do in the morning. And leaving my son's school, I decided that I'm a little hungry. I'm up early, so I go and I pull in the line at Burger King to get breakfast. Now, mind you, um, I've moved to the mountains. I've sold everything that I've owned, and I moved to the mountains, me and my husband, and we are basically trying to build our dream jobs and our life here. And so we're on a strict budget. We both made a decision together that we have to stop spending unnecessary money, especially on just food outside of the home. So I made a decision. I'm like, he's not here. It's just one breakfast sandwich. It'll be fine. And so I'm contemplating this though as I'm going, because I'm really obedient to my partner, and we made this decision. But I decided to go anyway. And I pull into the line. I order just one sandwich. My son is already off to school, and I get to the drive-through. It's not that I couldn't pay for a $4 sandwich. It's just the fact that this is this decision we made. And so I order my food, and I pull up to the window, and I go to give her my credit card. And the lady says to me, "Oh, she paid for your food already." And I go, "Who?" And she goes, "Oh, the lady in front of you paid for your food." Mind you guys, I don't know this lady. This was not someone from my son's school. I didn't recognize the car. I didn't recognize the lady. Matter of fact, we've only been in this area for about a year, so we don't know hardly anyone. And so I'm just, you have to excuse me. I'm still just so, just teared up about the situation, because it was just a sandwich, and this lady does not know just the confirmation that gave me, and like what I needed from that. And of course I prayed for her, and I asked the Lord to bless her 10 times fold. But I was in the middle of just questioning, God, should I even do this? My situation, we're really at our wits end. We're like, we're tight on funds. We really got to get our project off the ground. And guys, I just gave it to God this morning. I just gave everything to God this morning. And so I'm sitting at the drive-thru, and I'm sure people do that all the time, paying it forward, paying it backward. But just in that moment that I was in that praise time that I was in, just knowing that that had happened, it definitely allowed me to know that God had seen me, and he had heard me, and that he has me covered in his blood. And that was just such an amazing feeling. It was confirmation to my spirit. It was not coincidence to me. And also, on the way driving home, I'm still questioning, God, was that just, a moment, or was this really you let me know that I'm back on track? It doesn't matter how I basically, how I feel like I'm pulling away from you, how I feel like I'm not on fire, that you literally will still be in the midst of everything that I do, that you still have me covered in the blood. And as I'm driving home, which is a short drive, 10 minutes from this Burger King, I'm driving down my street, and I tell you no lie, I am driving and I have to stop. And I stop because there's this little squirrel, I mean the smallest squirrel I've ever seen, a baby squirrel, standing up in front of my car in like praying mantis position, literally with his hands like clutched together like he's praying. Mind you, squirrels normally stand in that way. So I'm not saying well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I believe that that was my second sign, because I was driving home and I was still I was crying, and I was just like, God, like, you see me, like, you know me, like, oh my God, I can't believe that you sent me this confirmation to let me know that I am not far behind, that I'm right on target, that I'm doing your works, that I'm doing your will, that I'm just driving in my purpose. And so I have to stop for this squirrel. I have to stop for a second. And this is funny to me, because if anyone has ever been driven in the mountains or anything, you know that when you encounter a squirrel, they take off. Like, you don't even have to stop for them because they're faster than your car. I had to stop. I literally had to stop because the squirrel was standing up in what looks like a praying hand position. And I just stopped for just probably 2 to 3 seconds. And then it just took off. And I just felt this warmth over me, as if this is not a coincidence. I am with you all the time. I am answering your prayers all the time. I am showing you signs upon signs upon signs in your life. And you just have to stop to see it. You just have to stop to hear it. And today the Lord has spoken to me loud and clear. I know that I serve a living God. I am so ecstatic of this day. I just want to encourage somebody to know that it does not matter if you have walked away from God. It does not matter if you felt like you backslide. It does not matter if you felt like you are far removed from God. He is in your presence, and you just gotta stop. You got to stop and listen. You got to catch yourself. I didn't allow myself to keep going and not giving God time and not spending time in the Word. I realized that my priorities was not where they needed to be. So I decided that today was going to be my change. I was going to give God the glory. I was going to give him what he deserved. And so I set aside this time, and I did this morning, and I'm just so glad I did. And I just wanted to share it with you guys, because it's important to know that God is actively working in our lives in this day. I love you guys. Stay blessed. God is with you.